Good evening and welcome. My name is Lord Byron Mae. I'm your host for the evening. Now before the movie starts, I'd like to give you a little heads up on what it's all about. As usual, it involves a protagonist, a normal 19-year-old boy, born in the ends, not a criminal, a fun-loving, law-abiding, strong-headed individual. Like all 19-year-olds, he liked to attend the odd shubs, listen to his iPod and play his Nintendo Wii. Unlike many boys, he was both close to his mother and his father. They adored each other alike. His father was a construction manager based in Wandsworth, did an odd bit of gambling. His mother worked for Croydon Council. Now both parents loved their child unconditionally and steered him away from the street life as much as two working parents possibly could. His childhood was as normal as any childhood could possibly be. What they didn't know but would later find out was there was a little bit more to the boy than meets the eye. You see, the boy held a rare gift, a strange and engaging power he didn't even know he had. But that was all about to change. You see, the revelation, funnily enough, takes place all on a single night bus. On his way back from a rave in Muswell Hill, North London, a strange twist comes into play. I'd like to introduce you all to a good friend of mine by the name of Marcus. Marcus Constantine. Ah, yes. The night air froze her toes within his nightcare. It was cold and unusually creepy. Not a sound could be heard. It's amazing how after a rave everybody seems to go their separate ways pretty quickly. It all happened so fast. And what once had been a buzzing metropolis full of loose gash, drunken brares and stone-faced security seemed much more like a ghost town. The doors to the rave had been locked so tightly, the entire club looked more like a boarded-up church. There was nothing but old newspapers blowing in the wind. All the boys he rode with had gone their separate ways. You see, they all lived in different ends, so they all took different routes to get home. Marcus was the last man standing. There he was, left by the bus stop, waiting for a night bus. One eye on the road, one eye on his phone. Even he noticed how quiet it was. Blood, there wasn't a single soul in sight. You see, he had to check his phone to reassure himself he did actually chirp Gash tonight, and he was in a rave because everything around him seemed so derelict, seemed so dead. He waits some more. Finally, he sees a bus coming. He can't make out his actual number or its destination, but he flags it down nonetheless, as he knows any bus going down the hill is ideal, or so he thought. It doesn't matter what the number is. Just to make sure it's going the right way, he had a quick word with the bus driver.
Yes, boss. What, you going down the hill, yeah?
Of course I am, but you're a bit young now, aren't you, mate?
You've been drinking. What were you talking about? Taking a bus? Got nothing to do with
You're a bit
age.
young. I'm not sure if we've got any space.
Mate, the bus is empty. What, are you crazy?
Do you know what kind of bus this is?
You're taking a piss. Look, that's my pass. I'm going upstairs.
Go ahead, I don't need your pass. We already know who you are.
What? What do you say?
Nothing. You go up there.
Can you at least put the lights on upstairs?
Of course I can, but you've got to sit on the far right third from the back.
Third row from what? Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah. He's nuts, man. He's nuts.
As Marcus boarded the bus, something didn't feel right. For one, the lights up top were off. He marched up the stairs. After a few steps, he started to hear voices. As he got closer to the top, he could hear shouting, loud laughing, a huge amount of activity. He could almost have sworn he couldn't hear anything before. After all, the lights upstairs, they were off. That means the bus is usually out of service. He reached the top of the stairs. Everyone stopped talking and turned their necks and looked directly at him. Marcus tried to pay no attention. He looked around and found there was only 2 seats available. One on the far right, third from the back. The other on the far left, third from the front. Just before he sits down, he finds, by the looks of things, an old Metro newspaper lying on the chair. Not in the mood to read about celebrity gossip. He places it on his lap and tries to fall asleep, putting his head down and closing his eyes. The minute he sits down, everyone resumes talking loudly and making noise, very much as they did before he made his way to the top step. He tries not to listen, but as he hears a conversation, it gets louder and louder, just a few rows behind him. And why are you here?
Why am I here? Blood, my wife cheated. What do you mean why I'm here?
Yeah, she cheated, but how did you die?
Look, man, I caught her in a room with one other guy and all sparks started to fly.
What are you saying, you got licked down by your cheating wife?
Yeah, I mean, Nah, I mean, you know how it is, right?
She shot you and you caught her cheating.
Well, I was drinking that night, you
You're a
know.
waste man about you drinking. Marcus is a small prayer, hoping his stop comes soon, and crosses his arms. He glances for a second at his watch and notices the hands of the clock seem to be spinning uncontrollably backwards. In shock, he slams his hand over the watch face and holds it there. Slowly, he pulls his hand away from the watch face. Just before he gets a second to look, the bus pulls up erratically at its next stop. He looks out the window and sees no one board the bus and wonders why the bus stopped in the first place. To his surprise, he hears some very loud footsteps making their way up the stairs. Blood, you're in my seat.
Well, can't you see there's other seats on the bus, cuz?
Blood, I'm not going to tell you again, you're in my seat.
How can I be in your seat? There's no names on these seats.
Alright, maybe you're right, I'll just sit behind.
Alright, cool.
Hey, don't I know you?
Who, me? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I know you. What's your name?
Marcus.
Scene. Marcus what?
Marcus Constantine.
Nice to meet you, Marcus. My name is Josephiah. Josephiah Yahweh. Now, Yahweh had enormously long dreads. He wore a crisp, tailored white suit and sat directly behind Marcus. There was something about this man's presence. It was almost as if he had this all-seeing power and knowledge. Marcus had his back turned to him, but could feel his aura. The man's breath was completely odorless, but he could still feel the cool spirit blowing against his neck back. He was aware of who this man was, he just couldn't put his finger on who he was. Yahweh began talking to him. Cuz, now I know where I know you from. You're Derek's son, aren't you?
Oh, see, you know my father?
Yeah, I work in Wandsworth with him. I'm the construction manager.
Okay, I'll tell him in the morning when I see him.
Yeah, tell him at work tomorrow we won't be needing him.
Oh, what serious thing?
Yeah, something's gonna happen. It's best if he gives it a miss, King.
Alright, I'll tell him.
Anyway, this is my stop.
Oh, you got to get off?
Yeah, but if I was you, I'd sit in the chair the driver showed you.
Yeah, I know, I forgot which one he told me
You might
to.
not like the next guy to sit next to you.
What do you mean, who is he?
I gotta leave, we'll speak. Easy. At that point, the giant dread who went by the name of Yahweh jumps off the bus. His skin as black as night, clothes as white as snow. He must have been about 7'2". By the looks of things, he had to bend at the waist to stand up, and when he sat down, his head almost reached the top of the roof. The very last statement he made left shivers down Marcus's spine. What did he mean he might not like the next guy who will sit next to him? How did he know who was going to sit next to him? At that point, he noticed the bus slow down to a halt, and the lights dim. This was the third stop, and a new arrival made his way up the stairs. This time, however, light feet scampered up the stairs, making him look over to see who it was. He saw nothing, and sat back down. Seconds later, he noticed a small brown guide dog, and slowly after it, an older man in a grey suit. There was a wicked feeling about this old man. He could have been in his late 70s and early 80s. His skin was brownish-reddish colour. He wore shades and had 7 gold sovereign rings on single hands. What he did find quite a coincidence was he wore very similar shoes to the ones worn by Josephiah, the guy he just met. On a second look, he noticed the man was blind. But somehow this blind man knew where to find his seat without the aid of his dog. The blind man sat behind Marcus. His dog gave a whimpering sound. This time he could feel hot air crashing on his neck back with a raw smell that couldn't be humanely described. He looked back at the man ironically giving him the evils.
Do you mind?
Do I mind what?
Do you mind not breathing in my neck back like that?
Like how? Oh, I mean like that. Sorry, brother, you should have showed me.
I just did.
Easy. Alright, don't I know you?
I don't think you do. How can you say you know me when you can't see?
Oh, I might be blind, but I can still see you. And I'm sure I know you. You're Andrew's son, aren't you, mate?
How in the hell do you know my mum's name?
I used to work with her.
Work with her where?
In the hospital next to the council. I was there when you were born.
When I was born?
Yes, I was the one who gave you the curse.
What curse?
What curse? What curse? Listen to you. Listen to how you sound. I'll be there when you're in the hearse.
Look, blood, move from me talking all this madness. You don't know nothing about me. Stop your foolishness.
Alright, we got off on the wrong foot. Now I know by the time you get home, your mum will be already on her way back from work. Make sure tomorrow she doesn't eat at the canteen on the 3rd floor.
3rd floor? What? Wait, where you going? What was that?
Look, mate, I gotta go.
At least tell me your name.
Tell your mum it's a friend. It's Lucy's husband, Far.
Alright, cuz I'll let her know I met you. Lucy's husband, Far. What? Who's Lucy? Who's Far? Who the hell is Lucy and who on earth is Far?
The night had gone from bad to worse. Marcus wished his stop would come soon. He looked around and noticed all the passengers had stopped talking. It seems as if it was all eyes on him. Marcus looked down and began reading his battered Metro which lay on his lap. He couldn't believe his eyes. He noticed it said Monday the 2nd of October 2007, which was tomorrow. Then he noticed the article. Freak accident happens at Wandsworth Construction Company. ICOP claims 3 lives. He continues to read. Stocks plummeted in ICOP yesterday as police investigate into company accounts. 3 suicides. Investors have been urged to sell the stock in ICOP after explosions. What shocked Marcus was the fact that ICOP was the company his father worked for. He opens the second page and then reads another freak accident story, where a gas leak on the 3rd floor claims 12 lives in Mayday Hospital. That's where his mother worked. He couldn't believe what he was reading. This paper looked old and battered, but it somehow told the future. He closed his eyes as tight as possible, reopened them, hoping to see something else, but nothing changed. The article was there, plain to see. At that very moment, the lights at the top of the bus go off completely. It's as if the bus driver is signalling for an all change, but no passengers move an inch. The silence is deafening. Marcus sits there frozen. He slowly turns around and everyone's looking at him. Their mouths open in unison, and they all start chanting his surname, making their way towards him.
What? Get away from me! Move! Get away from me! Move! Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Constantine! Constantine!
Constantine. He hears his phone ring. He frantically starts searching for it. But he can't find it. He jumps off his seat and hears it land on the floor. He throws himself after it, finding it incredibly difficult as the bus is in complete darkness. He sees his phone under one of the chairs further up and he crawls underneath and starts reaching for his phone. He just about reaches it. He closes his eyes and pulls it to his ear, hoping his phone call will save his life.
Oi, Marcus, wake up, cuz. Marcus, it's Benz. Sunday blood, remember that rave we said at Muswell Hill? Yeah, remember we spoke about rolling? What, you want it, yeah? Marcus. Marcus, you want it? Oi, Marcus. Marcus, you still there?
You see, Marcus couldn't bring himself to answer. All this time he was in his room on the floor. Could this all have been one big old dream? Or is there a sinister tale of all of this? Marcus was just in the early stages of uncovering a secret gift passed down from forgotten generation to forgotten generation. A gift that allows him to pass through time and have first-person view of all omens, good or bad. Who were the strange men he met on the way? Should he stop his mum from going to work tomorrow? Should he talk to his father? At least he has the whole day to think it through. You see, it all takes place tomorrow. He has all the time in the world to change the course of history. Who knows, blood, who knows? As always, I leave it to you to interpret the truth. But in your quest for the truth, make sure it doesn't happen to you. Lord Byron Lee.